It's time to call this meeting of the, it's a regular meeting of the San Felipe Del Rio CISD Board of Trustees, the day being Monday, October 27, 2025. Mr. Secretary, would you call roll for us?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Luna Chavez.
Present.
Mr. Almaraz.
Present.
Mr. Overfelt.
Present.
Mr. Mesa.
Here.
Mrs. Webb.
Present.
Mrs. Haynes.
Here.
Sir, you do have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Let the record show that we do have a quorum of board members and that this meeting was duly called in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This time we will have opening ceremonies, first with a moment of silence for personal reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. First item we have on our agenda is item 4A, Fine Arts Presentation, Del Rio High School Jazz Band. And Jane, who do we have? Okay. Melissa.
Hi. Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. Jane couldn't be here today, so she asked me to speak on behalf of our Fine Arts Department. I am proud to share that the Del Rio High School Jazz Ensemble has been honored as a commended winner in the 2025 Mark of Excellence National Jazz Honors, a prestigious recognition presented by the Foundation for Music Education. This distinction places the Del Rio High School Jazz Ensemble among the top high school music programs in the United States, recognizing their artistry, dedication, and achievement at a national level. Each year, the Mark of Excellence program attracts hundreds of entries from across the country, celebrating outstanding student performances and setting a national standard of excellence. This achievement is a testament to the exceptional dedication and talent of our students and their directors, Mr. Morales and Ms. Brown and Mr. Vasquez. We would also like to thank the district for their continual support of the Fine Arts Department. The piece that will be showcased tonight is entitled Caravan. Originally composed by Juan Tizzle and made legendary by Duke Ellington, this arrangement achieved iconic status through the Academy Award-winning film Whiplash. We present to you our Del Rio Jazz Ensemble.
Very nice.
That was nice, super nice.
Sure, you don't have to.
Thank you so much. It was absolutely awesome. We congratulate all of you. And of course, your band directors, thank you so much. And what a awesome, again, performance, and also good luck in future contests. Thank you so much. And we hope to send a video to Go. It says Go Public. It's an effort by TASB to promote public schools, because things happen in public schools that don't happen elsewhere. So we're amazed. Thank you. Dr. Rios?
Mr. Mesa, the group was just incredible. And I don't want to forget, because it's a whole month away for our next meeting, but I also wanted to congratulate Mr. Aldo Morales, his band directors, all the parents and the band students that performed this weekend in Austin. They did a tremendous job during the marching competition. I don't have any marching experience other than what I marched when I was in the Navy, but I can tell you that I don't know what else they could have done. So a good job to y'all and your students this past weekend.
Okay, we don't have anyone that signed up for citizens' comments, so we're going to reports. And we're going to table item A, reports, for next meeting, and we'll start with item B, San Felipe Del Oro CISD Strategic Plan. Sandra Hernandez.
Yeah, she's good.
Good evening, Mr. Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, I'm going to be giving you a brief update to our strategic plan. And as you recall, our strategic plan is the driving force for our district and how we're moving and making efforts to improve and empower students to excel, and together we are better. Our vision for the district, San Felipe Del Rio CISD, in partnership with our families and community, empowers every student to excel through a culture of collaboration, innovation, and achievement. We'll begin with finance and operations. As you will see, we'll be covering the different strands that are part of the strategic plan. This first one has to do with finance and operations. The goal of finance and operations is that by 2030, May 2030, the district will provide a strong plan for effective use of staff and district resources to produce a balanced budget while continuing district improvement and/or construction projects. With this goal, I'd like to share the accomplishments that were made. We have a balanced budget for the 25-26 school year. We have initiated that teacher incentive allotment designations, and they have increased this year from 43 to 43 teachers, 1 master teacher in 23-24. We gained 50 additional teachers and 3 master teachers in this past year's teacher incentive allotment for 24-25, and that is a huge accomplishment. The next steps are we are going to engage the teaching community. I know that you probably have a misprint on your frame, but this is the engaging the district community in the teacher incentive allotment itself. So we're going to review revise and expand the teacher incentive allotment by looking at the scoring rubric. We're going to review that. Revise the application to include additional tested areas, particularly elementary math, and applied we applied this year for the strategic compensation cohort, enhanced TIA. And I remember sharing that with you all recently, and we are anxious to share more information with you in the coming weeks. The next is to inform paraprofessionals about the Teach Del Rio program and help them apply for the program. We want to develop high-need staffing, and that includes our assistant principals, and deputy superintendent. The next area is on focused leadership. By May 2030, 100% of campus and district leaders will effectively support and communicate high expectations for student learning. The accomplishments, we implemented the Texas Instructional Leadership, TIL, observation and feedback protocol with school principals, improvements in teacher ratings for student growth to decrease in the number of teachers with low student growth data. And this is correlated to the previous because we want our students to show student growth. The next steps is to establish a series of professional development to build a leadership pipeline for current assistant principals, leading them to principals and aspiring staff to become administrators. The next strand is highly effective instruction. By May 2030, 100% of the school district students will meet or exceed grade level standards. Our accomplishments, we've established and monitored the implementation of and data from the blue and white assessments, spiral and low performing TEKS from the blue assessment into the white, and then establishing a professional development calendar for math K through 5, ECRs, and topics based on observation needs. Our other accomplishments is implementing data trackers for all students, classrooms, and campuses. We're using those data trackers to develop and monitor student intervention plans. And again, our goal is to show growth in our students. The next steps for highly effective instruction is to work with campus administrators to ensure campuses are using district-wide data analysis systems to identify those students who are in their Tier 2 and in their Tier 3 interventions, and then monitor their student growth. We want to ensure campuses implement instructional strategies to increase that academic growth in their struggling students. And we want to establish curriculum reviews based on critical needs, content areas performing low state averages. So again, we're zeroing in, we're targeting those areas for improvement. The next strand talks about innovation. By May 2030, the district will offer well-established innovative programs to 100% of the students. Our accomplishments are that we've established and refined models for New Tech Middle School, STEM, and dual language innovative programs. We received a New Tech Network Rural Grant. We received a Project Lead the Way grant. And the next steps for innovation is to ensure that training is provided and resources are in place for the New Tech Middle School, STEM, and dual language innovative programs. Project Lead the Way for New Tech and STEM, support for dual language. We want to continue that support in these areas. We want to be able to build community awareness and share information about the innovative programs and grow those innovative programs. In the area of integrated student support, by May 2030, 100% of our district students will receive services to meet their social, emotional, and academic needs. We've implemented the multi-tier systems of support, which is called the MTSS model for special education team, counselors, and administrators. The next step is to improve training and resources for special population teachers by looking at learning walks, conducting learning walks and EDS, monitoring and supporting middle school implementation of campus systems and procedures to ensure the success of all middle school campuses, and then support student activities to enhance engagement at all middle schools, including fine arts and athletics, and then monitor the implementation of Capturing Kids' Hearts, which has been implemented at the middle school levels. And this concludes our presentation. This has been the update on the strategic improvement plan for our school district. At this time, do we have any questions?
Thank you, Sandra. I'll turn it over to board members for questions. Okay. No questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, everyone.
Next report that we have is item 8C, bilingual ESL program.
Karen Schaefer.
Karen Schaefer, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mesa, Dr. Rios, school board members. How are y'all today? So today is our annual, just a report of what we did last year. So it's just an update on that. What I'll go over for the purpose of this is to evaluate the effectiveness of bilingual ESL programs in meeting linguistic and academic needs. So the questions that we have to answer is, are EBs making measurable progress in proficiency and achievement? We also have to ask, how effective is program implementation across campuses? And what improvements are needed for instruction and engagement? Of course, this is from last year, but we move forward with everything we've learned from last year. Last year, our district demographics included the total student enrollment, which was 9,744 students, and of that, our EBs had 2,309 numbers, with a percentage of 23.7%. Our language representatives were Spanish, Urdu, French, German, Japanese, Punjabi, and Filipino. Filipino is spelled according to TEA, not with a misspelling of mine. So the bilingual education program models that we have here in San Felipe del Rio, CISD, are one, the bilingual transitional early exit in all elementary campuses, our bilingual dual language two-way in our campuses of Buena Vista and Lamar, kinder through second. Of course, every year we add on a grade. Our ELs pull out, which is all secondary campuses. There's only the all secondary push in when they are the units, because they have all content areas in one class, but that's an exception. Very few are in those classes. So we see that our TELPAS Texas English Proficiency Assessment Standards for 24-25 include the proficiency levels. Having trouble seeing with my glasses. So we can see the numbers that the TELPAS tested 1,940 students, and 86 were denial students. And we can see the growth in every one of them compared to each other. So we can look at the beginning, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high, along with the STAR. Of course, we need both of those to incorporate when we look at the reclassification. Alongside of that, we have our TELPAS scores per grade, and this one includes actually the percent of students who made one or more increases in each proficiency. On the left, you have the grade according to, the grade, and then you have how many tested, and then to the far right, you'll have that percentage of those who increased one proficiency or more. The STAR performance by subject, you can see that out of the STAR EBs, or EBs who tested on STAR, which are third grade through 12, we had 1,684, and non-EBs, which counted up to 7,984. You can compare the two, the blue being the EBs, and the darker color being the non-EBs. So our emergent bilingual students are within 15 to 30 percentage points of non-EB students across tested subjects. Our EB student STAR performance of 2023 to 2025, you can see that we've really progressed, and we've maintained in most of the different subject areas in second through 8, or actually, the global. And once TELPAS and STAR have been tested, TELPAS being the first one, then comes STAR, we have reclassification. In 2023, just to reference, TEA changed the scoring for the composite rating so that we have now a student who can score advanced high or advanced in 2 to 4 of those different proficiencies. So they can have like 2 advanced in listening and speaking and 2 advanced high in the others. So the scoring really helped with the composite score average. And then in 2024, 2025, TA also made another one so that all of the EBs, if they have supports, they can also use those and still have reclassification, an opportunity for that as well. So those were 2 main things that changed. And that QR code just goes to the reclassification score if anybody wants to look at that. This slide has all the reclassification for the year of 24-25. It still is maintaining the structure of what we've implemented in our program. So we have our M1s that follow from last year and our M2s, along with 170 students that reclassified. And they're now our current M1s. So that we know that the focus is on language proficiency across state levels, or across grade levels. Consistency in exiting students from EB status through rigorous monitoring and instruction. M1s and M2 students' successes indicate sustained progress with focused interventions. And early identification of EBs and follow-up is always very critical. And linguistic and language acquisition is assisted with content knowledge. So now the goal was for 24-25 to make sure that the campus EB strategists made sure that they strengthened the bilingual and ESL instructional through instructional teaching, classroom modeling when asked. They also had progress monitoring that they were in charge of, and TELPAS support for English language development. We also included the TELPAS Data Talks, which I think was really huge for all 2,000 plus students. The strategists were able to go to campuses and talk to them and say, this is what you've made in the past 2 years. Let's see what you can do. And they had a goal so that they could pass. And that really seemed to work in the past year. And we started that actually the year before, but we're more consistent, 24-25. The focus on foundational skills was very critical, with emphasis on listening, speaking, reading, and writing, using instructional tools such as Summit K-12 and Lexia English, and the professional learning and partnerships with collaboration with Region 15 to help with certification, and also that was Region 13, and Region 15 to help with certification, and also helps through contents, and also help our assistants in the classrooms. So staffing and professional development, this is really critical, especially now that we have no strategists, but our ESL population is increasing, also our EB certification for our teachers. So we can see that certified teachers currently that were in the program. We had 67 last year. It went up to 97 certified teachers, which we're really proud of. Our exceptions for 2024 were at 56, and those went down to 42, which we want to have less exceptions. Also with the waivers in secondary, we had 42, and that's gone down to 23. So we know that student placement is very important. ELPS training is also important for our teachers. Sheltered instruction teams are now culminating with our certification, and then we continue PD for certification is important. This is really neat because you know that you've kind of done really well when TEA acknowledges all of your efforts, especially with the Title III in our parent, family, and community engagement. We had our T3 series with our parents. There were 3 of them. The LPAC and parent committees are also very beneficial for each campus to have parents in their committees. The family literacy meetings that they've always had and continue to have this year is very important. The community outreach with HEB, with La Cultura, and even Val Verde Regional Medical Center, they come in to help us with all of the meetings to just empower the parents. And they help understanding how to access digital platforms, not only Summit K-12 or Lexia, but also Skyward, which is really important for students' grades. And then Title III, like that picture shows, they really highlighted our district with the quote of, "Families as a vital role in student success," which is really what we all believe. Then we're really proud also with the graduation dropout rates for 24 to 25, with also the years prior. Last year we had an 87% of our students graduate, and then 83 before that, also with 83 before that year at 22, 23. And then that was our graduation, and our dropout rates have gone down as well, with 2% in last year and the year before, from 4% from that. The last slide is just acknowledging all the people that took place in helping in that growth and sustainability with Mr. Calderon and the LPAC clerks and every LPAC chair in every campus, Nancy and curriculum and all of our strategists, Alma Rees with our parents, and Gabby, our secretary, who's always making sure we keep mindful of our time. But most of all, we'd like to thank you, Region 13, Region 15, and Val Verde County for helping us incorporate all of these strategies for our EB students. Do you have any questions?
Board members, I'll turn it over to board members. Ms. Webb?
First of all, I want to commend all of the parents that are on those LPAC committees, because I know how hard it is for the parents to stop doing what they're doing, to attend a meeting, and sometimes they're called back because there was a late student or student that registered at a different time. So I commend all of those parents.
Thank you.
And then the only question I have, not having any strategists, how do you see the program moving forward for this year?
Well, it did come off to a rocky start, but what we're trying to do is empower the teachers. So getting them certified in continuous PD with the ELPS, because everybody has to have the ELPS, regardless of denials. Every teacher who has a EB student, whether they're active or denial, needs to have those ELPS in place.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Schaefer, I want to point out something on the I'm so glad that we have the two-way dual language, K through second grade.
Yes, sir.
And if you look at the TELPA's English language proficiency standards, you see the growth that they have in from kinder to first grade, second grade growth. And I'm glad we're doing that. The only thing is, we're still behind in regard to the scores in the STAR tests, But I'm glad to see those improvements there because these children in the early ages are like sponges. I mean, they absorb. I know in other communities and districts, they have language development centers, and I'm sure your team has visited several programs where they immerse the students with the English language.
Yes, sir.
Dual language is a great thing to have. I think these students will learn the language and make gains throughout the other grade levels. Do you see a big difference with Buena Vista and Lamar student, the ones that do have the dual language?
Well, when you look side by side, I think they had difficulties with, what do we do with the dual language program and us coming on board. We're just strengthening what was prior, which I really appreciate. So now what we're doing to try to emphasize strength in learning for students is we're planning with our partner schools. So second grade partners together for planning so that they know and follow the same curriculum. For second grade, same with first and then kinder. So we're hoping that strengthening the curriculum, which has changed in itself, will help us also provide stronger instruction for the students.
Okay. What about the pre-K program? Is there software with the use of computers, technology?
I'm not very familiar with the pre-K only because Dr. Talamantes is the one that oversees that. But I think your suggestion is really great that I need to look into partnering with her in order to move forward with that.
Okay. As always, when we get the report, I'm trying to think, T-Star, some Texas taper report.
Oh, yes, sir.
When we get the taper report, we compare the different subgroups. And so there's always room for improvement with the emergent bilingual students. And so any gains that we make, we're always glad of that. So we want for them to be able to graduate and do well in all their courses. And of course, I look at the denials and it makes it so difficult for teachers if they're not able to speak the Spanish language and parents deny. So whenever we have the parental conference, in years, the presenters have stressed the importance of placing students in the proper classrooms to make the gains necessary. So we continue doing that so they won't have any misinformation about guiding them to place them in the right classroom so they can make those gains throughout the school year and
Yes, sir.
graduate. That's the one important thing, to improve the graduation rate and to make sure that these students are successful, because even though they might exit, you still monitor these students
Yes, sir, for 4
to
years.
make sure they have the grades.
Right, and that is something, we do monitor 2 years in the district, but 4 years for TEA, so we're always monitoring regardless to make sure that they're successful.
Good. Anyone else? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, too. Just
Next item we have is item 8D, HB3, goals. And Ms. Sutton, welcome.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. Today, it is my opportunity to present the House Bill 3 goals and updates for the 25-26 school year. HB 3 is focused on 3 key areas, which is third grade reading, third grade math, and our CCMR, which is career, college career, and military readiness. So the board is required to adopt plans for this, and we are having to do it for 5 years. And each campus is required to set goals for the district. And this is the goals that were established back in 2020. So you'll see in this area where it says 2020, those were the goals that were set back then as the baseline for where our students should show meets or better. So it's not just at approaches, it's at meets. So on grade level or above grade level. So that's our percentages. And then we set an established new baseline in 2025, because it's every 5 years. So again, in 2025, those are the updated scores from 2025. So those were our scores of where we met those expectations. And then we had to reestablish those goals for 2030. And so that's that middle line where you'll see the new goals that have been set. And those were set with the assistance of the administrators and central administration to come up with those goals so that we know what we need to do for the next couple of years to progress towards meeting that expectation. And you can see that quite a few of the schools have already way exceeded those goals from 20 to 25. Or got really close, and then those next goals are based on the trajectory. So the progress that we continue to see over the trends over the last couple of years, and then how far they think they can continue to go 2 or 3 percentage points over each year. And you'll see the same for math. The only thing that I will note is you have a gray box under Sinisa Hills, and that is only because in 2020 they did not exist. It was still North Heights back then. So now Sinisa Hills was started in 23-24, and so their new goal would be the 2025 baseline and then the 2030. So we have our CCMR, like I said, career, college, military readiness. These are our targeted goals. And we are always looking at the 2020 starting point. So as you can see, in 2020, the goal was to be at 74%. We were at 67. However, if you look at over the course of 5 years, it went up close to 25, 26 percentage points, which is a substantial increase into the 90s, which is a fantastic increase for our high school students and our high school administration and staff. And that is a great accomplishment. I do want to note that if you look, well, let me go back here. This next goal, which is 93%, we feel very confident that we're going to continue to exceed that over some major implementations that are being made at the high school with the support of the counselors, the teachers, and the administrators, and I'll be going over that further in a little bit further down in the slide. So. Part of what we need to do is always constantly moving forward with how we're going to support instruction in the classroom so that we can move forward. So as you can see on this assessment piece, we have to start at pre-K, just like Mr. Mesa mentioned earlier. Starting at pre-K, we do have our Text-Kia support piece, and that is tested at the beginning, middle, and end of the year. It does include a dyslexia screener, and that screener has been changed this year to the end of the year. We also have the TPRI, which used to be K1, 2, and 3, and those have now changed to first and second grade. Those have now been adjusted just a little bit differently, but they are still beginning, middle, and end of the year, and the universal screener is at the middle of the year. We used to do a lot of our dyslexia screening at the beginning, and now it's more further back into the middle of the year, and it will continue to change as the course of the next year comes along, because they've already posted some changes that'll be coming our way from that. We do have the circle, which is done also 3 times a year, and these are all supported with our teacher incentive allotment, these are the things that our committee came up with that said these would be the assessments, and these are the tools that we're going to use that determines whether a teacher can meet that teacher incentive allotment expectation. Again, we have our blue and white assessments that we created a couple of years ago, last year and this year. Those are to help support our progress monitoring to make sure that we keep moving our students forward for STAR so that we're more prepared. And then, of course, we have the CCMR, which is kept at the end of the year to see if we are where we need to be. And of course, there's always a little bit, it's a year or two behind with the graduates and how they're doing. So we have to always stay on top of that and track our students. They do have a middle of the year tracking data, and they are using a progress tracking sheet. The counselors are tracking that, and they're especially tracking the students who have maybe not taken their TSI yet for their college entrance, or if they have not met all of the expectations. So maybe they met expectation in reading, but maybe not for writing. So they're tracking those to make sure that they meet all of those components, especially for the TSI component. The intervention resources for House Bill 3, this is where we want to make sure that we are closing the gap. And we are doing that through a couple of areas. In pre-K, we do have these 3 components, which is Renaissance Mayon, the Circle Intervention Toolkit, and Frog Street Curriculum Intervention, which Ms. Talamantes does a really good job of making sure that those implementations are done with fidelity there at Cardwell. In kinder through 5th grade, we do have our new implementation of the Bluebonnet Math, which is going very well. Everyone's getting used to that. It's quite a bit of a change, but it is going to, we feel like it's going to make great changes where you're going to the deepest level of the content and able to move it forward. So not surface level, it's going pretty deep. We also have Progress Learning, which is an online resource program that surfaces all subjects, social studies and science included. Renaissance Accelerated Reader, Mayon, Nearpod, and Vocabulary is also on there to support vocabulary, which we do have deficits in normally with our struggling students. We also have Lexia K1 and Summit K12, 2nd through 12th grade, and again, that is our supporting our bilingual EB students. Texkia and TPRI intervention toolkits. Those toolkits are available. Usually has about 26 lessons already built in, but if you need additional materials, there are additional materials on those sites, and they are all online now. They used to just be in print, so they now are online. We do have our ACE program for our after-school intervention program and enrichment program. So I know that it's been kind of a shift from tutorials to now enrichment, which is a great support piece for our students after school. We also have our Power Hour, what we used to call Power Hour. Some people call it Panther Hour, Win Hour, whatever your school is supporting that. That is for our students to have a guaranteed 45 minutes to an hour on the school day, during the school day, to give interventions to the students who have gaps, and they are grouping students based on where their needs are and how they're supporting that at each campus. Looks a little bit different, but it is very consistent about making sure that we're using one of these tools that are aligned to where the student's needing. And then the newest one is the IXL, which is the reading and math, and this is a new adoption that we got because it does support the HB 1416, where it can be done on the computer because it gives direct feedback, different than when you just sit in front of the students with the teachers. This allows them to also be helping students and giving them credit for their HB 1416 hours through this particular program. We also have our reading and math prep courses for the CCMR at high school. We have our TSI tutorials. Like I said, we are trying to get as many of our students TSI tested as possible so they are college ready. We also have hand-scheduled courses, so they are very deliberate about who is with what course and making sure that all of the students have the best chance of meeting all of the CCM requirements. So if they're in their industrial courses, whether they're trying to do AP or dual credits, meeting those associate level requirements, and then also for their college readiness. And then the newest program for Edgenuity used to be used for just credit recovery for those students. However, there is a huge component on there that does support PSAT, SAT, our ACT, as well as our advanced placement courses. We are just about to do a training on November the 3rd for our advanced placement teachers to help them, give them some more material to help those students meet those 3 or higher scores so that they can get the college credit. And then everyone is receiving our Del Rio Cares lessons so that we can also reach our social and emotional piece for our students. The next component is our Campus Improvement Playbook, and this is being led by Iris Oca, Carlos Barrera, and they are working on this part. 3 of the highest pieces is the focus is a prescriptive by student. So not a one-size-fits-all. Everyone has an individualized plan focused on what they need to close the gap. The other piece is supporting students with intentionality. So how are we going to focus on each student? What does that look like? Where will they be at what time? And then how is that support going through tracking systems? And the last piece is fidelity. So consistency of implementation over the course of the school year. So we're going to be checking this on a regular basis every week, every 2 weeks, every month. And if a student is not meeting the expectations, what are we going to do about that? So if you notice on this far left side, you'll see where it says data walls. Data walls were introduced by Dr. Rios and the cabinet on how we could help make sure we were tracking student progress. So we have data walls in our planning rooms where we can have those discussions about support and instructional changes that need to be made to support students in the classroom. And they're also in the classroom so students see their progress and how they need to move forward, as well as individual student trackers. And those folders are also kept for each individual student. To the right of that is our digital growth tracker. The digital growth tracker is to identify more the root cause of why that student is not progressing forward. Okay, so that is student regresses. One of the biggest things they are doing now is parents are called. They are tracking those phone calls, what discussions they had, and then how they can help as a partnership between the parent and the teacher to move the student forward. We have the interventions and the House Bill 1416. Again, House Bill 1416, we are required to meet those 15 or 30 hours depending on where the student is, if they haven't passed in the past or how they're doing it now. And again, that's where we use those IXLs, the progress learnings, the one-on-one small group interventions, 1 to 4 student to teacher ratio, sitting in the back of the room, helping them during the day. And that's how we're gonna get to those hours and make sure we close the gap there also. Accountability for parent meetings. They're required to have 2 parent meetings throughout the year. One is in the fall before Thanksgiving break, and the second meeting is before spring break. And the last one is what Ms. Oka likes to refer to as the 212, the extra degree. And so the extra degree is just how are we going to extend that to mastery. And again, it goes back to progress monitoring, grade level tier 1 instruction, making that better, targeted professional development for teachers so that we can continue to build their tool basket so that they can be stronger teachers in the classroom and receive whatever assistance they need so that they can help the students. And the last slide is our research-based practices to guide our work. Again, there are 3 major areas, which are these 3 areas right here: progress monitoring, grade level instruction, and professional development. And progress monitoring, these are the areas that I've already discussed tonight already, but they are over here for your viewing in case you would like to discuss those further. AIM High Fluency Tracker is the one that we haven't talked about. That is something that we, once we provide interventions to a student, we log that into the system, what we've done with them and how they're progressing. So if a student takes a white exam or a blue test, it says, hey, we're on target, you're in green. If you're not on target and you actually regressed, it will turn it red. So it's an indicator to the teacher right away, hey, clue, your student's regressing, we need to do something about that. And then we move to the next part, which is that progress monitoring piece. The grade level instruction, we are doing our planning protocol sessions. Those are tiered towards Tier 1 instruction, though we do discuss what we call Plan B. Plan B is our Tier 2 and our Tier 3 instruction. If it's not working this way, what do we do next to make sure that we don't miss any gaps? And then on Tier 3, how are we going to close the gap in those small group sessions? We are using DMAC regularly. That's where we post all of our accommodations and modifications as well. And then our teachers are able to put material in there. With our new ECRs, we are also able to type in the extended constructed responses. Teachers are able to print those and have discussions with students with those, so that we can improve those scores as well. That will help our students become better writers. And then on the professional development, our Read Academy has continued to go strong with Michelle Gonzalez at the helm. She's doing a great job. This year we do have 25 participants. We have 1 administrator and 24 pre-K-5 teachers. On that note, she is also assisting some secondary and some special education teachers who were invited, who actually asked if they could get some additional support so they could help students at the secondary level who have gaps in reading. So they are also getting some assistance from that STEM, that RTI piece. Also, the research-based instructional strategies, RBs, we just did that this last year. This last RTI day, we did RBs. That came from Region 15, and that's research-based instructional strategies. It was given to all K-5 teachers, and that will help, again, fill their tool basket. We continue to do ongoing planning protocol supports with Blue Bonnet Math. Musquiz Ortiz, our math teacher, Ms. Musquiz Ortiz, she does do Zoom meetings with all of the campuses by grade level to talk about where the students are, what we see in the data, and how to support that. If there's any questions or concerns from teachers, she does answer it at that time. We do have Capturing Kids' Hearts, which is off to a great start at middle school. They're doing great things. TCMPC is our new TEKS resource system. Teachers are really getting used to that platform. It's a new platform for them. We continue to add more resources to support them, and we know that we can do better every day. We're going to continue to give them training so that they can use those. That is where your IFDs are found. That is where your TEKS verification documents are found. That's where assessment questions are found, so that they can use those during warm-ups to help their teachers and their kids. And then we do have the targeted academic supports on campuses that are being done by our strategists or our curriculum departments. We do have the ELPS and the CBLI training that Ms. Schaefer was just talking about earlier. That's helping moving our students forward. TEAL coaching has been being done by Region 15 to support teachers in their leadership to continue to guide our campuses to be even better. They're great. They're doing a fabulous job, and we're really proud of them as well. And then we have continued ongoing planning protocol, as Ms. Schaefer mentioned, when they come over to the C&I department, bilingual department, and get some time to collaborate with each other. Does anybody have any questions?
Board members, questions? Yes, Mr. Orfeld.
Can you explain IXL to me again?
Yes.
The IXL program?
Yes. IXL is an online platform that you can use for reading and math. Right now, we're mostly using it for reading because we do not want to move too far away, but it does take a diagnostic exam at the very beginning. So students log in, they take a diagnostic, and it gives you analysis on where the student is, and it gives a prescribed intervention that they should go into. So it tells you exactly where that student needs to do every day to make sure that they're closing the gap.
Okay. Is that something that, since it's online, is it something that's only through our intranet or intranet, or is it something that the kiddos could access from home to be able to also take a diagnostic from home daily or whatnot and be able to still?
They can access it at home, yes, sir.
Okay, so through the I'm drawing a blank here, sorry. Either through their Google site or the or the camp, or the districts?
If they do it outside of the campus and they're not using their Chromebooks, then they would have to go into the IXL site and log in with their passwords.
Okay.
If they're here on campus, then they can go into Clever. We have it set up into Clever, and they would just log in and automatically logs them in there because we have it aligned.
Okay, so if they have their IXL, they can access it from home as long as they've got their password. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Olindo?
Ms. Sutton, if we could just get an update, what has the response been to the change to the bluebonnet math from the district?
At first, it was a little tough. Everybody was a little bit, I'm not sure about this because it was a lot of material. There was some delays in our material a little bit because each student gets 3 workbooks for their material, which is their lead, learn, and practice. But we were able to get printed copies to them, so they never went without the copies. But now that they've gotten all their materials, their math kits and all of that, they are actually full-on, hands-on. We've seen great comments from them. They're pretty excited about it. The students are moving forward. We can see that they are talking, having conversations in the classroom at a deeper level. And then in the planning sessions, they're able to have that support every week, which we haven't had in the past. So they're able to have access to someone who can give them questions or answer questions and give them support immediately, and then break down those questions about why we may have gotten those wrong with those misconceptions and things like that. So we have really high hopes that it'll continue to get better every 6 weeks as they get more comfortable with the material. But we have had some good responses.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Amy?
Can I just want to follow up with that because I've heard good things, but I've also heard that if we could have more hands-on training for teachers as well, I don't know, maybe we can schedule that in to see if we can work that out, but I've heard good things. I've heard the progress is fast and stuff like that, but teachers would like to have more hands-on training, which I think would be
I'm glad that you brought that up. I know that Ms. Musquiz Ortiz did offer a Google form for teachers to also fill out, and they can ask for a demonstration in their classroom, that she would go in and do those demonstrations in their classroom so that she could model for them. And then also in the planning sessions, she can also model and do more of that so that they can have more of that hands-on practice.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Thank you, Amy. I just want to say this is one of the most comprehensive plans that we have for addressing HB3 goals. There's a lot of things here, and it just makes a lot of sense, a lot of good things. One question for Dr. Rios, I guess. On the CCMR, we are getting credit for industrial certifications, level 1 and 2.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, is it both level 1 and level 2?
It's mainly level 1. Mr. Mesa,
Level 1?
Chief.
Okay, thank you so much.
Just a reminder, in the past, the board used to approve the House Bill 3 goals. And we just need to double, I know we made a thorough presentation and it looks great, particularly with they all look great. I'm not gonna single anybody out. But we just need to double check that they're not required approvals because that used to be part of how the board approved some of the goals for the campus improvement plans. So if you just make a note and we can check with Jane when she gets back. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item we have is construction and facilities and construction update, Mr. Chapa.
Mr. Mesa?
Yes.
I take it back. I do want to single one of them out. If the percentage of students meeting the CCMR goal, 91% this past year, that's huge. I know that they were a little overzealous and set a 92% goal, and they only got to 91%. But that is a tremendous accomplishment. So I just want to commend the early college high school, Delray High School, and a blended academy, because that is tremendous. We're very close to 100%, and I don't know that most districts in the state of Texas are anywhere near that high, so I wanted to mention that.
Okay.
Congrats, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations. Thank you. Mr. Chapa, welcome.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. Tonight's presentation includes the updates for the San Felipe Memorial Middle School / Cody Wardlaw gym fence, as well as the Garfield Middle School Fine Arts renovation. The fence itself, it's been completed as of earlier this month. It protects the front of the building completely. The Fine Arts at Garfield is pending some additional materials, which are part of the agenda later on in the meeting. Campus requested an additional classroom to be treated with the same materials that were treated at the band and the choir. Moving on to the work orders. For the previous 90 days, the maintenance work order, they received 3,258. They closed 1,000, they received 1,258. They closed 1,089 for a percentage rate of 87. In the previous 15 days, 158 were received, 140 were closed, a closure rate of 89%. 16 to 30 days, 188 were received, 171 were closed for a closure rate of 91%. 31 to 60 days, 555 were received, 476 were closed, closure rate of 86%. 61 to 90 days, 357 were received, 302 were closed, 85% rate closure. Technology, the previous 90 days, 4,677 tickets were received, 4,369 were closed, closure rate of 93%. 0 to 15 days, 484 tickets were created, 432 were closed, 89% complete. 16 to 30 days, 577 tickets were received, 534 were closed, 93%. 31 to 60 days, 2,058 were received, 1,864 were closed, 91%. And 61 to 90 days, 1,558 were received, 1,539 were closed, 99% complete. And lastly, Transportation Department. In the previous 90 days, 200 tickets were received, 170 were closed, 85%. 0 to 15 days, 59 were received, 49 were closed, 83%. 16 to 30 days, 46 tickets were received, 38 were closed, 83%. 31 to 60 days, 82 were received, 72 were closed, 88%. And 61 to 90 days, 13 were received, 11 closed, 85%.
Questions for Mr. Chapa from board members? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item we have is term 1, attendance and discipline report. Does anybody have any questions? I just want to say thank you, principals. Everyone is in the 90s. That's awesome. Blended Academy might need some work there, secondary. But even Irene Cardwell, great. Thank you so much. I look at those numbers and sometimes we start low and then we start getting lower and lower. But this is awesome. As long as we're in the 90s, it's a great accomplishment. Thank you so much, principals, assistant principals, and everybody else. Thank you. So no one has any questions about discipline, attendance? Okay? Yes, sir. Okay. Then we go on to the consent agenda. Again, there's some minutes of some meetings. The donations, Dr. Rios, will be posted in social media.
Already posted.
Already posted. If there's any questions, again, this is the time to ask the question so we can pull one of those items out on the consent agenda. As always, we want to thank those individuals and organizations and businesses that contributed, made a donation to our different programs throughout the district. Thank you again for supporting our programs and making a donation. If there's no questions, then I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Go on to administration. We're going to, under 12, table that one. So we go on to item 13, business and finance. Item A, consideration to approve submission of application for the 2025-2026 Title V, Part B, Rural and Low-Income School Program Federal E-Grant application for federal funding to the appropriate headquarter authority, and is presented Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This is a annual renewal of our of the Title V Part B Rural and Low Income Grant. At this time, we will be submitting a grant application in the amount of $319,767.
Questions for Amy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Ofelt.
So with the government shut down right now, what, I mean, we can submit, but what are the, I guess, is there a deadline that it has for the federal funding? Because who knows when it's coming back up?
So we can submit through eGrants. They are still monitoring that as far as submittals, and we will, yes, we should be receiving a no-go on that. I do not have a time frame on that as of this moment, and once we get that, it will tell us the time period that we can use
Okay.
the funds, yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Anyone else? No questions? You want to go ahead and read the recommendation, please?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the submittal of the 2025-2026 Title V Part B Rural and Low Income School Program Federal E-Grant application in the amount of $319,767 for the funding of federal programs to be appropriated headquarter authority for the 2025-26 year as presented.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Almaraz, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item B, consideration to approve modification of the 2025-2026 general fund balance commitments. Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, as part of our 2025-26 general fund balance commitments, we had committed funds for two projects. The first is the district warehouse asphalt replacement, and we had originally committed funds of $100,000. And the bids that we have received, the bid that will be awarded is for $171,075. So I'm asking at this time to increase the committed funds for that from our general fund balance in the amount of $71,075. The second project is the purchase of two security department vehicles. We had originally allotted $95,500 as part of our general fund committed budget for that purchase. And the bids that we have received, the awarded bid will be for $118,834. So we're asking to increase that project from general funds in the amount of $23,334.
Questions from board members? I have one, Amy. Why, on the asphalt, I mean, that's almost twice the amount. Is there a reason for 71,000 increase?
We'll ask Mr. Chapa to come forward, Mr. Mesa.
Yes, sir. Basically, this is the price of materials. One of the major components on the asphalt pavement structure is asphalt, which is a derivative of petroleum byproducts. And that fluctuates greatly. So it's just the price of materials.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I guess we don't have any other questions for Amy. Want to read the recommendation, please?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the modification of the 2025-2026 general fund balance commitments as discussed.
First recommendation, motion by Mr. Orfeld, seconded by Michelle Maraz. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item C, consideration to approve a contract over $5,000 and purchase order over $25,000 with Vega Paving Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $171,075. Funding source, Fund 170, committed funds, operations for the repair and resurface of the warehouse parking lot project. Mr. Chapa.
Good evening once again, Mr. Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. So the project was advertised once again, and we only received one bid, and was Vega Paving. So administration is requesting approval for this contract and PO. It consists of overlaying or resurfacing the entire warehouse area, as well as doing repairs to an immediate area adjacent to the dumpster, which receives a lot of heavy loads right there with the trash trucks. So that's going to be a full depth repair of up to 8 inches of depth, removing the existing materials there and replacing them with some select backfill materials, which should provide an adequate surface for the overlay, which is going to be out of hot mix, similar to what we have between the old 600 wing at the gym and the band hall there at the high school.
Questions for Mr. Chapa? I noticed they're doing another project also here for the city. They're doing a culvert in the area of Veterans Boulevard. Those lots that are there close to Walmart. Will that interfere with any of the work that is being done in the warehouse with the time frame?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Okay. There being no other questions, you want to read the recommendation, please?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve the contract over $5,000 and a purchase order over $25,000 and allow the superintendent to sign a contract with Vega Paving Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $171,075 for the repair and resurface of the warehouse parking lot project.
Further recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Orfeld, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D, consideration to approve a purchase order over $25,000 to Sames Bastrop Ford Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $118,834. Funding source, Fund 199, committed funds, security for the purchase of 2 police security department vehicles. Chief Foss.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. On September 24, 2025, purchasing requested a proposal for 2 police vehicles. The district at that time received 2 bids. Sam's Bastrop Ford was the awarded bid. The last time that we purchased vehicles was in November of 2022.
Questions for Chief? Yes, Michelle Maraz.
Hey, Chief, a couple questions. I was going through the descriptions, and I don't see anywhere where I see they're wired for lights and radios. Are they not equipped with lights and radios already?
The bid was for 2 fully equipped vehicles.
Okay, so they're ready to go. No additional items need to be added to these vehicles?
No, sir.
Okay, perfect. And where will these vehicles go? Where will they be sent out to? Certain campuses, or where are we going to use these at?
Well, depending on when they arrive, we'll evaluate the condition of the cars that we have now and then disperse them based off of that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming we identified cars that already need to be replaced, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No questions? You want to read the recommendation, please?
It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve a purchase over $25,000 to Sam Bastrop Ford in the amount not to exceed $118,834 for the purchase of 2 police security department vehicles.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mr. Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Under Human Resources, we will table all items for further discussion. We will deal with Human Resources items when we come back from executive session. We're going to go into closed session. The time is 7:19 p.m. We're going to closed session pursuant to 551.074 and 551.071 of the Texas Education Code. If any item needs to be approved, it will be taken upon reconvening into open session. We're now in closed session. Okay, the time is 8:53 p.m. We're reconvening into open session. No action was taken in executive. We're going back to Human Resources. Item A, consideration to approve the conversion of an excess position to 3 critical needs assistants with the Special Education Department. Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. Administration is requesting to convert, we have 3 excess vacancy positions to 3 critical needs assistants within the special ed department.
Questions? Hearing none. Recommendation.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the conversion of excess positions to 3 critical needs assistants with the special ed department.
Heard the recommendation. There's a motion from Mr. Galindo. Second from Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item B, consideration to approve the conversion of an excess position to a special education behavior unit aide. Amy Childress.
Good evening once again. Administration is requesting the approval to convert an excess vacancy position to a special education behavior unit aide position.
Heard the recommendation. Motion made by Linda Webb, seconded by Ms. Orfeld. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item C, discussion and possible action to approve employee job descriptions and evaluation forms for academic support specialist and security monitor. We're going to table elementary special population specialist and secondary special population specialist. Amy Childress.
Yes, sir. At this time, administration has brought forward an update for the academic support specialist job description and evaluation forms, and a new job description and evaluation form for the security monitor.
Questions for Amy? Hearing none. I'm going to read the recommendation, please.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the employee job descriptions, evaluation forms, and revised job classification schedule for the academic support specialist and security monitor as discussed.
Heard the recommendation. There's a motion from Mr. Almaraz, second from Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item D, consideration to approve the conversion of an excess position to an academic support specialist with the Special Education Department. Amy Childress.
Yes, administration is requesting to convert an excess vacancy position to an academic support specialist with the Special Education Department.
Any questions for Amy? Hearing none. Want to read the recommendation?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the conversion of an excess position to an academic support specialist with the Special Education Department.
Heard the recommendation. Motion from Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mr. Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Item G, consideration to approve the conversion of a safety monitor to a safety security monitor. Amy Childress.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Item G.
Yes. Administration is requesting the approval to convert the safety monitor position at San Felipe Memorial Middle School to a security monitor position with the District Police Department.
Questions? Hearing none. Recommendation?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the conversion of a safety monitor to a security monitor with the District Police Department.
Here's the recommendation. Motion for approval from Mr. Almaraz, second from Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item H, consideration to approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plans. Amy Childress.
Good evening once again. This evening, we are asking approval for changes to the compensation plan. On page 273, under the auxiliary pay plan, for these, we're adding the security monitor that you just approved. And on page 275, we are adding under UIL academic supplemental stipends, we are adding a UIL middle school coordinator stipend.
Any questions from board members? No questions. Recommendation?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plans as presented.
First, the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Becky Chavez, seconded by Ms. Orfeld. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Going back to item 18A, consideration to approve personnel report to include the following: new hires, district vacancies, retirements, resignations. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve the resignations, retirements, and vacancies discussed in closed session and the following new personnel: Adrian Hernandez, pre-kindergarten teacher at Irene C. Cardwell Elementary; Yahaira Favila, kindergarten teacher at Ceniza Hills Elementary; Amanda Artiega, fifth grade bilingual teacher at Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary; Wilson White, fifth grade teacher at Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary; Jose Perez Jr., mathematics teacher at Del Rio Middle School; and Melissa Lopez, kindergarten teacher at Ruben Chavita Elementary.
Questions for Amy? Hearing none. I'm going to read the recommendation.
Oh, sorry, again. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve the resignations, retirements, and vacancies discussed in closed session and the mentioned new personnel.
Here's the recommendation. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Motion made by Becky Chavez, seconded by Mr. Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries. Item B, consideration to approve the salary adjustment. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the salary adjustments as discussed in closed session.
Questions for Amy? Hearing none. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approval. Mr. Galindo, seconded by Ms. Orfeld. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item C, consideration to approve the position of licensed specialist in school psychology with the Special Education Department. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve Lizette Chapa for licensed specialist in school psychology with the Special Education Department.
Any questions? And is there a motion for approval? So, Mr. Orfeld, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. There being no other items on the agenda, is there a motion for adjournment? Mr. Orfeld, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you. Good night, everyone.